Okay, let's jump right in. Welcome to this explainer. Today we're doing something a little bit different, but honestly, it is incredibly powerful. We are taking a 400-year-old text, originally written by a scholar named Liao-Fan back in the Ming Dynasty, and we're going to transform it into a cutting-edge, highly effective corporate leadership strategy. Now, you might be wondering, what on earth does a centuries-old text have to do with leading a modern corporate team? Well, stick with me because the insights hidden within this text are exactly what modern management desperately needs right now.
Let's be totally honest for a second. Are you just exhausted? Modern managers are facing literally unprecedented levels of burnout. We're constantly trying to force team alignment using these outdated, ego-driven methods. You know the drill. We bark orders, we track every micrometric, we stress over KPIs, and we try to control every single variable. And what does it actually get us? Stressed out leaders and totally disengaged teams. It's a method built entirely on force, and frankly, it's breaking us.
So we're looking at a massive paradigm shift here. On one hand, we have the old way, command and control. It's loud, it's stressful, and it relies heavily on authority and fear. But then we have Liao-Fan's alternative, quiet influence. He taught that true outcomes, or destiny as he called it, aren't changed by just forcing things to happen, but by shifting our internal approach and how we interact with others. We're going to adapt his ancient lessons on goodness and humility into a really strategic framework for leading through supportive influence, rather than brute force.
Let's start with Section 1, Real versus False Goodness. As a leader, you really have to ask yourself a tough question. Are your motives truly authentic, or are they kind of just for show? Liao-Fan's text points out that doing something that looks good on the surface isn't actually good if the underlying motive is selfish. Imagine this, right? False corporate goodness is buying a massive box of gourmet donuts for the break room, but you literally only do it on the exact day the CEO is visiting the office. Sure, it looks nice, but come on, the motive is entirely about your own optics. True corporate goodness, on the flip side, is serving your team daily. It's taking the time to mentor a struggling junior employee when absolutely no one else is watching. According to Liao-Fan, if an action benefits only yourself, it's false. If it genuinely benefits others, it's true.
Let's bring this down to earth with a very modern boardroom reality. Set the scene. It's the end of the quarter. That massive Q3 project you're leading is failing. Deadlines are missed, the client is super angry, and the pressure is just completely suffocating. This right here is the ultimate test of a leader's character. So how do you react when the pressure is on? The KPI-driven reaction, which is deeply rooted in false goodness, is to panic. You immediately fire off an email to upper management, shifting the blame onto your team just to protect your own reputation. But the team-driven reaction, which is rooted in true goodness, is entirely different. You look inward. You take the hit from upper management yourself, and then you sit down with your team, whirl up your sleeves, and ask, okay, how do we fix this together? What support do you need from me? You are absorbing the stress to protect them rather than sacrificing them to protect yourself. And here's the absolute best part about doing it the right way. When you take the hit and support your team in a crisis, it yields exactly one highly cohesive, fiercely loyal team. They will literally walk through fire for you on the Q4 project because they know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that you actually have their backs. That is the true power of authentic leadership. Moving right along to Section 2, the hidden virtue advantage, or as Liao-Fan called it, yin virtue. Liao-Fan talked a lot about doing good without constantly needing a gold star or public recognition. He said this builds a deep, profound foundation of success. In the corporate world, if you're constantly grabbing the microphone to make sure everyone knows you solved the problem, yeah, you might get a temporary ego boost, but you're going to breed resentment. Hidden virtue is that behind-the-scenes support that truly empowers your team. It's doing the really unglamorous work to clear roadblocks so your team can run fast, without needing to announce to the whole entire office that you cleared the road. Here's a super relatable example. Say your team just landed a massive account. Instead of taking all the praise for yourself, you hop into the company-wide Slack channel and you specifically hype up a junior employee's contribution. You highlight their late nights, you shout out their brilliant pitch deck. You just remain quietly in the background. That hidden virtue builds an unshakable, profound trust with your team. I promise you, they will never forget that you gave them the spotlight. Which brings us to Section 3, humility as a strategy. Now, in the fast-paced, cutthroat business world, humility gets a really bad rap, doesn't it? Does it just mean weakness? A lot of stressed-out managers assume that being humble means you're just a pushover. They think it means getting walked all over by your competitors or your staff, and that you always have to be the loudest, most aggressive person in the room just to command respect. Well, Liao-Fan argues the exact opposite. Instead of a weakness, think of strategic humility like a high-level vacuum. Water naturally flows to the lowest point, right? By keeping your ego low, you naturally attract the best ideas, the deepest respect, and the absolute top talent. Think of your humility as the supportive, rich, fertile soil where your team's talent can grow like cute little corporate plants. If you're this massive, overbearing tree blocking all the sunlight, nothing is going to grow under you. But if you provide the foundation, your whole team thrives. I absolutely love this quote from the ancient text because it's this brilliant nugget of practical wisdom that perfectly grounds our modern advice. Do not use your own strengths to overshadow others. Listen, if you're the smartest person in the room and you constantly use that to make your team feel small or stupid, you are actively destroying your own potential for growth. A truly great leader uses their strength to elevate others, not to cast a shadow over them.
All right, Section 4, leading with quiet influence.
So how does this actually play out when things get messy? We've all been here, right? You've got a difficult employee. Maybe they're stubborn, maybe they're underperforming, or maybe they just have a really negative attitude that's dragging the rest of the team down. The traditional command and control manager would probably call them into the office, read them the riot act, threaten their job, and just try to crush them with authority. But Liao-Fan's method flips this completely upside down. It's all about supporting the virtues of others. First up, you observe patiently. Second, and this is absolutely key, you find a small strength. Even the most difficult employee does something well, right? You focus in on that. Third, you praise their potential in that specific area. And finally, you absolutely avoid public scolding, which we all know only breeds defensiveness anyway. By highlighting their hidden virtues, you actually give them a positive reputation to live up to. You're inspiring change from the inside out, rather than just forcing compliance from the top down.
Finally, Section 5, 3 principles for tomorrow.
Let's get incredibly practical here. You can literally start doing this chronological routine with your team tomorrow. Step 1, in the morning, check your motives. Before you fire off that email or call that meeting, just ask yourself, is this true goodness for the team or false goodness for my ego? Step 2, by midday, find an opportunity to cover a mistake. When someone slips up, don't throw them under the bus. Quietly help them fix it and use it as a private coaching moment. And step 3, at the end of the day, step back. Find a win, big or small, and publicly give the credit entirely to your team. Practice that hidden virtue. And that leaves us with one final, absolutely crucial question to ponder. Are you going to keep fighting a losing battle for control, constantly exhausted and stressed out? Or will you step into the fertile soil of strategic humility and start leading with quiet, unstoppable influence? The ancient wisdom is right there. The choice of how to build your legacy is entirely yours. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I will see you next time.